This is a film about the gear in my backpack that can actually improve your life in 2025 and the story of why it's there. Let's do it. Artists have their paintbrushes. Writers have their keyboards. And I have a backpack. Okay, I'm done being dramatic. What I'm trying to say is that this backpack and everything in it are tools that I've specifically chosen to fit my lifestyle and the goals that I'm trying to achieve. Let's start with one of my favorite pieces of film gear. This little guy is the small rig magic arm. And yes, it does look like a medieval torture device, but it helps me get some really cool and unique shots. Here's how it works. This one side has a screw on it, so that's what connects to the camera. This other side has a clamp that I can attach to pretty much anything. A desk, a door, a lighter. It results in these super cool fixed angle shots. I oftentimes use this technique when I'm getting shots of a pen or a phone, but you can get one for about $20 on Amazon and they fold up, so it gets super compact and it's easy to take with you. I'll link this guy and any of the gear that I mentioned down below in the description. Now, similar to the magic arm, but a little bit more niche, is the suction cup mount. If I have anything like a pole that I can clamp onto, then I'll use the magic arm. But sometimes we just have a flat surface that the clamp won't work with, so that's where the suction cup comes in. I'll typically use the suction cup to mount my camera onto windows, the fridge, and the windshield of my car. This just gives me another chance to get really unique angles that add a little bit of flair to my videos, and they leave me creatively fulfilled. These guys are about $45 on Amazon, and if you had to choose between the suction cup mount and the magic arm, I would probably go with the magic arm because it's a little bit more useful than the suction cup. I find the suction cup is a bit more niche and I use it a little less than the magic arm. They are both great options though. Now, if you've watched any of my recent videos, you won't be surprised by the next tool that I'm about to mention. And that tool is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This thing is just all around the best vlogging camera right now. For anyone looking for a small camera that can capture their everyday moments, then I would definitely recommend looking at this camera. As I mentioned earlier, I love to combine the Osmo Pocket 3 with the magic arm and the suction cup mount because you can put the cameras in just unique places that my other camera doesn't fit, so it gives me the chance to think outside the box and get some cool perspectives. Staying in the same lane with cameras, I have my main camera, which is the Canon R6. I won't talk about this camera much because I think you should just use whatever camera you have, but I will say that I love it. It's great for both photo and video, and it's just been perfect for my needs. In the future, I'll probably look at getting a Sony camera for my main camera, but just use whatever camera you have. And if you have too many, use the camera that inspires you to go shoot. In regards to lenses, there are two main lenses that I recommend. The first lens is just a general one that does a great job in almost every situation, and that is the 24-70 f2.8. If I could only have one lens, it would be this one, because it gives me versatility in that I can get a wide shot at 24 and then zoom in and get a super tight shot at 70mm. And all of that without even swapping lenses. The aperture going to f2.8 does pretty good in low light situations, and it gives you that really nice background blur. Anytime I can only bring one lens with me, it's this one, and I highly recommend it. On the other side of the spectrum is a more niche lens that I still love. I originally got this lens for real estate photography, but then I saw Colt Kerwin use a similar lens in his YouTube video, and it just kind of opened my eyes to being more creative with it in video. This lens is the Samyang 14mm f2.8, but I'm really just referring to any ultra wide angle lens in general. 14mm is just super wide, so anytime I throw shots with that into my video, they stand out, and I love that. And because it's so wide, I can hold the camera just a short distance away and still capture most of my body, which is awesome for a vlog. But if you overuse something, I feel like it kind of takes away from its special qualities, and the viewers don't appreciate it as much. So you definitely just want to sprinkle in shots with this lens here and there, and don't overdo it. Since we talked about lenses, I have to talk about another piece of gear that never leaves my camera bag, and for that matter, never really leaves my lens either, and that is an ND filter. An ND filter is essentially sunglasses for your camera. It's what allows you to get realistic motion blur and depth of field when you're filming in bright situations outside. I feel like I'm committing a YouTube sin by saying the word cinematic, but If you've ever heard someone say they want to take cinematic videos, then an ND filter is one of the things that can contribute to that. I bought one of the cheapest ones I could find on Amazon, and it's honestly held up really well over the years. Cheaper ND filters are more likely to give your videos a weird color overlay though, so you get what you pay for. I'm colorblind, so it doesn't really matter either way. An important aspect of any video, and arguably the most important aspect, is the sound. And that is why I use this gem. This is the Sennheiser MKE600. It attaches onto the top of the camera and just plugs right into the side. Anytime I need to record audio, I use this guy because it does a great job of cutting out background noise, and I don't have to worry about syncing a separate audio file with the video whenever I'm editing. This mic is a little large though, so sometimes I feel a little awkward using it in public. Sennheiser does make an MKE400 though, that is a more compact version and also sounds great. And if you're looking for something a little bit more budget friendly, I'll link a few other options down below. Almost to the end of the list of my camera bag essentials is the laptop. Specifically, I use a MacBook Pro with an M2 chip in it. Now, to be fully transparent, I cannot afford this laptop. It's a work laptop that I'm lucky enough to use for free. What I can say though is that having a laptop that doesn't slow down your creative process makes a huge difference when it comes to your motivation to continue creating. For my first few years of editing, I used this super cheap laptop that I got at a pawn shop. I was incredibly grateful for it, but that thing was so slow when it came to running any of my editing programs. This laptop is literally the complete opposite. I can't keep up with it, and it inspires me to keep going with new creative ideas because there's nothing slowing me down. So whether it's a Mac or a different brand, I definitely recommend investing in a laptop or computer that can handle the photo and video files that you're shooting. Inspiration comes in waves, and a good laptop will allow you to ride those waves a lot longer. The last tool I'm going to mention is the bag itself. If you're spending a lot of money on expensive gear, then you need to be carrying it in something that will keep it safe. You also want to carry it in something that you actually like carrying, or else you're going to end up not even taking your gear with you. This bad boy is the Peak Design backpack, and I bought it from a friend used for like $150. I don't really have too much to say about it. It works, it's not great, but it gets the job done. The shoulder straps are really thin, so there isn't much support there. Would I recommend this backpack? Probably not. It protects and holds my gear well, but I honestly hate carrying it around. Make sure you get a bag that you'll actually enjoy taking with you and it doesn't feel like a chore to use. I'd highly recommend looking at Wandered, Brevity, Nomadic, and even some of the newer Peak Design backpacks that have a little bit more support in the shoulders. There you go. All of these are the essential pieces of gear that will be staying in my backpack in 2025. All of the gear I mentioned will be linked down below in the description, and I'd love to know what gear you guys have that is essential for you. Something I love about the internet is that we can all learn from each other, so I'm excited to see what you guys use and how I can incorporate it into my work. But that's it. Subscribe if you want, support my Starbucks addiction, and toodaloo.